It looks like Five Nights at Freddy's 2 is going to have both original Ghostfaces in the new movie. Skeet Ulrich will be joining Matthew Lillard, reuniting the original Ghostface duo for the new FNAF film, and maybe even in Dead by Daylight. We'll break down what this means and also what Matthew Cote had to say when we asked him about a Matthew Lillard Ghostface cosmetic and stacking licenses. So slash those like and subscribe buttons. Let us know what you think of this video in the comments, and let's get into all of it. The new Five Nights at Freddy's movie is set to release on December 5th of this year. The first film released in 2023 and made nearly $300 million in the box office worldwide. So this sequel is going to be huge, and Blumhouse is clearly trying to raise the bar by quietly adding Skeet Ulrich, Billy and Loomis, to the cast, rumored to be playing Henry Emily. There's a few things worth talking about here. Many believe Henry Emily is one of the most important characters in the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise, being the co-founder of Fazbear Entertainment alongside William Afton, and Henry also created most of the animatronics, including the Springlock suits. Henry Emily and William Afton, soon to be Skeet Ulrich and Matthew Lillard, were business partners until the death of Henry's daughter, which he blamed on William Afton, and became his arch enemy after that. The Michael Myers to his Laurie Strode, if you will. But this means we'll be seeing both the original Ghostfaces from the 1996 original Scream movie together again on screen in a horror movie, and this is a huge deal.
Yeah! I'm ready, baby!
But could this mean Dead by Daylight would be able to pull off doing the same? Could we see Ghostface cosmetics in Dead by Daylight for both Billy Loomis and Stu Macher? I know what you guys are thinking. Behaviour said they never stack licenses. You know how I know that? Because this is the channel where that information came from. So I'll get back to that in a minute. First, I'm going to show you two clips from our interviews with Dead by Daylight game director Matthew Cote on this topic. The first clip will be from our interview on the Dungeons & Dragons chapter, where we talked with Matt about having both Vecna licenses in the game and stacking licenses. The second clip will be from our last interview from the Five Nights at Freddy's anniversary event, where we were half joking about this exact scenario of Matthew Lillard coming into the game as Springtrap, leading to him having a Ghostface cosmetic.
And it's to be absolutely transparent in this, it would never prevent us to do a chapter and add the Vecna character from Stranger Things. These two can live in the same Dead by Daylight world without a problem, right? Because they're not the same thing. It's not like adding a second version of Michael Myers. It's got nothing to do with it.
Well, since you brought it up, that is another thing that I was wondering, you know, if that does it, you know, argument's sake and living in a fantasy land, that does happen. Would that be a situation where Vecna in the game right now would get a legendary skin, or you guys would just go a whole new character?
No, I mean, yeah, this is all theoretical at this point, but
If it
one
happened.
thing that's very clear is that those are two
Absolutely.
completely different licenses. They live in different worlds. They are the property of two different
Right.
entities. Therefore, there's no way in hell we would use a license and put a legendary skin from a different IP on an existing license. That's just not a thing.
Right.
And it would make no sense because Victor Creel, I believe his name is in Stranger Things, doesn't use magic, right? He doesn't summon skeletons. That's not what he does. It would make no sense.
All right, so now I have to ask it, and Matthew Lillard, you guys were working together. That is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Five Nights at Freddy's. I mean, you guys have Ghostface in the game.
Yep.
Were there any side
What are
conversations?
you getting at?
No. Were there any thoughts, or at least internally in your head, like, man, that would be something cool, even though I understand the licenses are different?
The licenses are different.
Yeah.
Yes, it would be cool. You're not the only one who's had those thoughts. Yeah, Scream, very important in the horror culture. I mean, you could say Scooby-Doo also very important in the horror
course.
culture. He's Shaggy, right? Yeah. Yeah, we've all had those thoughts. We've all had those fluttery eye moments when we're like, oh, wouldn't it be wonderful? And the short answer is mixing licenses, like having two things joined, is exceedingly difficult at the best of times.
Okay, in the first clip, Cote said the two Vecnas, quote, would make no sense, and pointed out the differences between the two Vecna characters. And this is true in Vecna's case. But stacking licenses for Ghostface killers from the Scream movies within the same Ghostface character makes perfect sense. In the second clip, Matt said, mixing licenses, having two things join, is exceedingly difficult at the best of times. Which feels like a very different answer from the first one, right? Matt went from a firm no with no way in hell and that's just not a thing to exceedingly difficult, which seems to give some hope. Also, if there were ever two licenses you could stack, Fun World, which is the current license for the Ghostface character in Dead by Daylight now, and Scream would be the ones. Scream most likely has to license the Ghostface mask from Fun World for each Scream movie, so we already know the two have a great relationship and are practically married together. If anyone could make this happen, it would be Matthew Cote. Let's take a look at what would have to be done in order to make this work, and honestly, it doesn't seem impossible. Behaviour would have to acquire the Scream license, which given the state of the franchise right now, very well could be at its lowest price-wise, so that is absolutely possible. Especially considering the other licenses that Behaviour has acquired recently and even in the past, I don't see this being anywhere close to the most money Behaviour has spent on a license. Behaviour would then have to get Fun World and Scream to be able to agree to this collab, which is very doable. Then just tie it all together with the likeness for Matthew Lillard, which they've already worked out in the past, and Skeet Ulrich. Throw them in a studio for some voice lines, and you have one of the biggest DLCs still available for Dead by Daylight. And if you're licensing Scream and doing all this work already, Neve Campbell as a survivor would be the cherry on top of all of this. She is one of the ultimate final girls of all time in the horror genre and has been craved by the Dead by Daylight community for a long time. Now it's time for what you guys think. Don't forget to slash those like and subscribe buttons and let us know in the comments if you think it's possible for Behaviour to pull this off. Let us know if Billy and Stu Ghostface cosmetics are something you'd want to see in Dead by Daylight and what you would want from a Scream collab in the fog. We'll catch you on the next video. Good night from Slasher Radio.